If you're in the market for an iPhone in 2025 and don't want to drop over $1,000 on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the iPhone 15 Pro Max might just be the phone for you. With prices dropping significantly on the used and refurbished market, often under $800, you're getting flagship level performance, features, and camera capabilities very similar to the newest 16 Pro Max. Let's kick it off with the build quality. This phone is all about refinement. Apple ditched stainless steel for titanium, making the 15 Pro Max about 20 grams lighter than the 14 Pro Max. You absolutely feel that weight reduction when holding it, even if it still does feel a little hefty compared to some other Android phones that I've been using. It has aerospace grade brushed matte finish that resists fingerprints way better than the glossy chrome sides from before. The rounded edges make it more comfortable in the hand, and the subtle curves along the edges adds to the ergonomic feel. Love or hate Apple, you have to admit, this thing looks amazing and feels incredible to hold. One thing to note though that I have seen over the almost 2 years using this device is that people have complained about the back glass cracking more than before. I can't say for sure because while I have dropped this phone, it has always been in a case. I've never had any damage and it has been just as reliable for me as any other phone that I have used. Get a case and a screen protector and don't worry about what you read. That's my advice. There's also the new action button, which replaced the classic iPhone mute switch. At first, I have to admit I was not a fan of this, but there is a huge benefit. As many of you already know, it's fully customizable. You can map it to silence your phone, launch the camera, activate focus modes, flashlight, voice memos, or even advanced shortcut automations. I personally use mine to launch the camera, which makes me seriously wonder about that camera button on the 16 Pro Max, but that's a separate video coming soon, so subscribe for more. And finally, this iPhone has USB-C. Thank you, Europe. You can now use one cable for your Mac, iPad, and iPhone. Data transfers are faster with USB 3 speeds, and you can even hook up external SSDs, monitors, mice, or game controllers. To me, this is one of the biggest selling points of this phone. I absolutely hated trying to find a lightning cable and adapters for devices. USB-C is the standard, and even though Apple had some help and encouragement to make the switch, I am happy they did. Now, what about the display? This is still one of the best smartphone screens that you can get even in 2025. It's a 6.7-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED with 120Hz ProMotion, HDR10, and Dolby Vision. It gets 1000 nits normally, 1600 nits in HDR, and up to 2000 nits in bright sunlight. Outdoors in the Florida sun, still completely readable. Indoors, it looks incredible. It doesn't have the anti-reflective coating that you'll find on something like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, but the contrast, color accuracy, and the smooth 120Hz refresh rate make content consumption a true joy that can go down to as low as 1 Hz to improve battery life. Whether you're watching HDR YouTube or gaming, this screen holds its own and looks amazing. The bezels are slightly thinner than the 14 Pro Max, but not as thin as the 16 Pro Max, and the dynamic island is still here. I like all the software quirks that Apple adds to make this an enjoyable feature, like when controlling music or timers, for example, but let's just be honest here. This is a well-polished software solution for a hardware problem that Apple still has not figured out how to fix or get under the screen. It was a clever way to do it though, and for that I have to give Apple credit. Now let's talk about the cameras because this is where the 15 Pro Max shines. You're getting a 48 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide with macro focus, a 12 megapixel telephoto with 5x optical zoom, and the LiDAR scanner for depth and AR. In daylight, photos are clean, detailed, color accurate, and very balanced. You're not going to see the overly contrast look that you'll get from something like from Samsung. Apple leans more natural and looks very true to what my eyes actually saw when taking the photo. I can feel confident I'm going to get a great photo with this phone every time I use it. In low light, night mode is going to kick in when needed, and you get bright, sharp photos without a ton of noise. It's not magic, but it's consistently good. I think I still prefer the pixel night mode, but I can't complain much here. Portraits look fantastic, especially at 2x and 5x. The background blur is smooth, the edge detection is top tier, and Apple added the ability to change your focus after taking the photo, which is just an awesome feature. The video is even more impressive. You can shoot up to 4K 60 across all lenses with Dolby Vision HDR, cinematic mode, action mode, ProRes recording, and even spatial video if you're planning on still picking up an Apple Vision Pro headset. Rest in peace. Stabilization is among the best in the industry. In the audio quality, it's clear, spatial, and rich.
Keep her happy, babies. Surprise, surprise.
If your focus is video, this phone is not going to disappoint. Overall, I was very impressed with the camera setup for still shots and video for a phone that is almost 2 years old. If you told me it was the new iPhone from Apple, I would have believed you. Now the battery life, this is another win. It has a 4,441 mAh battery to get a full day of use. I've consistently pulled around 7 hours of screen on time with mixed use, including things like taking phone calls, texting my friends and family, navigation, music streaming, some gaming, and lots of YouTube. I feel like 7 hours is fair considering that my battery health is at 87%, which is a lot lower than I was expecting, but anyways, and this is something to consider when buying this used or refurbished. Make sure to see the battery health prior to purchasing. Charging though, it's still not Apple's strong suit. You get 46% in 30 minutes using the 20-watt adapter. Full charge takes around 1 hour and 45 minutes. And there's no charger in the box as always. Gosh, I hate this trend becoming a reality, but wireless charging via MagSafe is great. MagSafe is such a great built-in feature. There's also an 80% charge limit option if you want to preserve battery health long term, which is also nice. Now for performance, you're getting the Apple A17 Pro chip, which is Apple's first 3nm processor. It's paired with 8GB of RAM and NVMe storage, and it's an absolute beast. I'm telling you honestly, I see and feel zero difference between this and my iPhone 16 Pro Max. Zero. It feels like a brand new phone every time I use it. It does great in benchmarks, even though the A18 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max is technically going to be faster, of course, and more efficient on paper. It does great gaming, and you're not going to be disappointed. This is going to be fast for years to come with zero lag or stutters. It's extremely fast, smooth, and very fluid. Whether you're playing games, scrolling through Reddit, or even just trying to get it to stutter while opening a ton of different apps, it just works. Now for the software and features, my iPhone 15 Pro Max is rocking the latest iOS 18.5 and it is just amazing. Now this video is not going to cover all the features because at this point there's a ton of videos dedicated on that topic, but here are some of my favorites that Apple has added, and at this point, as much as I love Android, as you guys already know, Apple is making it easier for Apple users to just keep buying more iPhones. Apart from the typical things that I envy as an Android user like AirDrop, Handoff, and the overall ecosystem integration, you have some newer things that run great on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, such as the redesigned control center, which is just fantastic. I'm so happy they updated this. You can also change your lock screen shortcuts, which should have been added a long time ago. You have this new app for your passwords, which I'm a huge fan of, and you get greater home screen customization, which is very similar to what you get on Android, or in some ways even better. In the photo application, even though there's a lot of things that I don't like about it, one thing I love about it is that when you search for things, you can also include things like dates. So if I want to look up a photo of our puppy in the year 2022, it will pull up all those photos matching a dog's description in 2022. And lastly, the calculator upgrade, something that not many YouTubers mention, is pretty freaking cool. Now, I'm not in school anymore, but I did study finance, and if I would have had this in school, it would have been a great help. So the bottom line, should you buy the iPhone 15 Pro Max in 2025? Let me put it this way. If you want an iPhone that delivers top-tier performance, exceptional camera versatility, a stunning display, rock-solid battery life, and years of software updates to come, all for hundreds less than the newest model, then the iPhone 15 Pro Max is 100% worth it. It gets an instant recommendation from me, even though for my channel you can clearly see that I primarily use Android, and credit where credit is due, Apple absolutely crushed it with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Yes, the iPhone 16 Pro Max adds a few refinements like slightly better speakers, better ultra-wide camera, a camera control button, but for the average user, the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers 95% of the same experience at a much better price. Whether you're upgrading from the iPhone 12, 13, or even the base iPhone 14, this is a substantial jump. So yeah, it's not just worth it, it's one of the smartest iPhone buys that you can make in 2025. Hit that like button down below if this video helped you out, and subscribe for more if you like what I do, and I will see all of you next time.